Thanks a lot. And now we move on to our next session, and that is going to be about stories. All of us love stories. We are in the age of social media, and what sells online is the story. If a brand has to sell themselves, if the brand has to have a good positioning, all they need is a good story. So in a world which is always connected, always scrolling, and rarely switched off, this conversation dives into what it really means to live, create, and stay relevant in digital age. For our next panel, please welcome Rhea Chopra, writer and best-selling author of her debut book, Never Logged Out. Also welcome Ehsan Awazir. He's an actor, writer, and digital creator, and you've 100% seen him on Instagram in his conversation with NDTV's Vedika Sood. Can we have all of them on stage? Have a great session.
Okay, the idea now is to defy gravity. You've had a hearty meal and your dessert has reached the sweet spot. So defy gravity, no slouching, sitting up and listening to us, because I promise you this is going to be a riveting session, because it talks about how we're cued in when it comes to content creation and being online, and how our phones to a certain extent also do rule our lives, if I'm not mistaken. So just introducing our guests today. You've already been introduced to Rhea and to Ehsan Awazir, who are with us. Well, you know, when we talk about soft power, it doesn't announce itself. It works quietly, shaping how societies think, what they value, and how they see themselves. And at the heart of that influence are stories that travel faster than borders, perhaps outlast headlines, and often define a generation more than policy ever can. So, Rhea and Ehsan, my first question is, in this world of content creation, in this world of us holding our phones and watching content online as we are even now, are we reading, Rhea?
We definitely are. I mean,
how much?
Statistics do show that over the last few years, young people are gravitating towards reading. I think specifically in the pandemic, when a lot of people were indoors and we were overdosed with the amount of time that we were spending online, doom scrolling had become a thing. People started gravitating back towards reading, and there's a certain timelessness and a certain concentration and mental activity that takes place when you're reading instead of scrolling. So there's definitely a cohort of young people, and a large cohort of young people that are. There are obviously so many ways our attention is being pulled apart right now and pulled to our screen, so you have to fight against it. But I think with effort and with a little bit of diligence, young people can find their way back to reading if they want to.
I think that's the takeaway. Young people can find their way back to reading. How many of us read here on a regular basis? Let's be honest. And what are we reading also is going to be my question. What are you reading? Okay, she's talking about studying her case costs. Case laws. Okay, all right. No, I'm talking about apart from academics, who are avid readers in this room right now? I think that's a worry in itself, isn't it, Rhea, that we don't have regular readers anymore? Is it because, like you said, we're being pulled apart? Online has, a stipulated time within which they give you what you want in terms of instant gratification. And then I'm going to come to you, Ehsan, because you're the man to talk to about this.
I think there are two things. Firstly, reading for leisure isn't really something that Indian education systems tend to encourage a lot. There is a push towards educational reading, which is books that are your course books. And outside of that, maybe you read a little bit of history, a lot of non-fiction, etc. But do we really encourage young people to seek out stories that are, say, fantasy, magic, entirely fiction, romance, the lighter things of life, but also slice of life in the sense of drama, mystery, stuff like that? I think there's a gap there. The second thing is, what kinds of books end up getting published? And that's a question that I try to talk about in my book, Never Logged Out, as well, where I say that young people do want to read narratives about themselves. They also want to see narratives about themselves. The problem is also that you don't have a lot of genuine young stories being depicted. You instead have more stereotypical narratives of young people, even in books, even in films. Look at all the depictions of influencer culture in Bollywood movies today. None of them is very realistic, right? It's a caricature of what it is. I think young people want sympathetic, understanding, empathetic portrayals of themselves, and be that in books or be that online, I think that would encourage them to immerse themselves in storytelling more.
Now I'm going to bring in Essen because you're on the other end of the spectrum. We have a writer here, and obviously we're going to talk about visibility and how important visibility is when it comes to your work and to publishing your work. But Essen, is there a moment in life where you can switch off? Because everyone's always on their phones. You have to create content for them. How difficult is it? And how much do you have to think about it in terms of producing that content at a very fast pace for an audience that consumes it even faster?
Yeah, so I think there is a moment when you switch it off, and that moment is when you are in the moment of creating. Like with me, when I sit to write, when I think of something, when I think of contemplating a feeling to a very larger audience, what you call content, an art piece for me, I think that's when you switch off and really sit with your thoughts and understand what you actually want to put out. How will people relate to it? How is my generation going to look for themselves in that piece? So that's when you
Have
can
you
switch
cracked
off.
that formula? You think
Yeah.
you have? What is the formula?
I think it's just being honest and being yourself. I think it's a very मैं बहुत छोटी बात बोल दूंगा कि be yourself, but it takes a while to figure out who are you
Yeah.
and who is your jungle and who are your people. They will relate to you. They'll find the mirror in you, and eventually you find your home.
But you're talking about authenticity, right?
Yeah.
You're saying be honest. But do the people in this room or outside this room, do they want authenticity or simply want content that feels familiar?
I think there exists the different levels. There is everyone out there. For example, I would like to answer the previous question of you about
Sure.
the reading. So the reading part of our generation, we might not be reading book as much, but there are so many platform pages. Like for instance, Ria, she gives a lot of content out. She asks people to read this, read that. So I think there is a very vast audience for that too. And ये भी है कि बहुत लोग time भी waste कर रहे हैं. You can't just put a black and white border on that.
I just want to
Sure.
jump in and add to that. What Esan is saying is 100% true. I think instead of the medium of whether young people are consuming online or engaging offline or what they are doing, I think what they're engaging with becomes a lot more important because he makes 3-minute long reels that are also vertical content that have so much thought, so much effort put into the writing and the storytelling. It's not the same as me watching the same minutes of, AI generated fruits are fighting, which is all that's coming over my feed these days. So I think what you engage with is what becomes important instead of the medium, which is also important, I think, but less so than the quality of the narrative.
But I think the challenge also lies in being a writer. When you're writing purely for people to obviously pick up that book and read it and consume what you've written in it, Ria, you have another hurdle to cross then, which is visibility.
Yeah.
Isn't that a challenge? Being a writer, then going online to create content, to say, hey, this is my book, this is what I want to, send out this message through the book. So you have another hurdle to cross. It's not only about writing a book, it's also about making sure that there's visibility for your book today,
Yeah.
which wasn't there perhaps 10 years back.
100%. I think there's a pressure on artists of all kinds to also now be marketers, salespersons, PR persons of their own work, because the understanding is that this is the only way to draw people towards your writing, which is the audience and the readership that you can gather. I still feel that I am relatively lucky on that one because I am a digital native myself, so I at least know how to handle the social media side of things. I was doing a book tour earlier this year where I was at a lot of the bigger literature festivals across India, and I had a lot of older authors coming up to me and being like, "Acha, hum start kaise kare? Hamare publishers hame keh rahe reels banane ko." And there are now 40, 50-year-old authors who have to contend with that. Like, you have to meet your audience where you're at, and right now they're on their phones, right? So you have to meet them there. So I think it will take some effort for artists to also figure out how to navigate that space. I think there is still a way to write a very good book and not create content around it, and it will find its readers. I think the online space makes it easier for you to find your readers.
Essence, there's content creation, but there's something driving content as well, which is algorithms.
Yeah.
Have you cracked that code yet? Or is that something which is ever elusive?
So there are some tips to it कि keep the hook this, keep the hook that, ये करो वो करो. There are some tips that you can see on the pages कि जो आपको एक manual पकड़ा सकते हैं. But I think it's always about what you put into it. कि आपने जो emotion, जो feeling, जो आप बात कहना चाहते हो, was that important? Because I may attract a number of people, millions of people by using the algorithm, but if it was not good enough, they will never come back. They will never watch me again, because
That's a lot of pressure on you.
I think internet is not a pressure, like for the visibility part also. Like I myself, I think would have never become a writer, would have sold any number of books if I was not on internet. मुझे लगता है internet more than pressure, it's an opportunity. I live in Mumbai now. I see a lot of actors complaining, oh, the movies are bad, nobody's casting us. I am saying internet is the place, make your own movie. Just do it. So you can use it as a tool, but शुरू में उससे डर लगता है कि I'm afraid of के what should I do, what should I not do. But when you jump and you know how to swim.
You know, Gen Z has grown up on social media, unlike a lot of other people in this room. So I want to understand from you when it comes to distractions. Is Gen Z getting distracted easily? Is focusing a problem given that their go-to is social media?
There is documented research that shows that attention spans of young people are shortening over time. I think the latest one says that it's at 3 seconds or something, which is also why you have this thing of put the hook of the reel between the first 3 seconds, वरना लोग scroll कर देंगे क्योंकि वो सिर्फ उतने time का ही देखते हैं. So I feel you really see that happen online, and that of course furthers the cycle, right? The shorter the hook, the shorter your attention span, it gets lower over time, so that is there. But young people are also people whose neuroplasticity is still active, which means that your neurons can rewire themselves if you immerse yourself back into longer attention taking situations, if you try to concentrate. So once again, I will say, like, it's possible that for the group of people your attention spans are like fried, but there is always a way to come back and retrain yourself. It's not, I feel like we tend to pass these generational statements कि young लोगों का तो attention span खत्म ही हो गया. There is नहीं हुआ है. There's always a way back, and there are a large group of people जिनका नहीं ही हुआ है, who are resisting the impulses that the phones are pushing. It's important to have this conversation, but to also not ignore that larger group as well.
You know, I started with a larger picture here because I wanted to come to the headline of this discussion, which I hopefully have led to, which is virality essence the new validation?
For me personally, sometimes yes, but I'll tell you a little story.
Sure.
So I made a film 2 years back, 7 minutes film. Let's talk about attention span also. तो कुछ 7 मिनट की फिल्म मैंने YouTube पर डाली, and it was a German war film. I lost a lot of weight. And 2 दिन पहले I get this idea कि why should I not post this on Instagram? Because मुझे लगा कि this won't work on Instagram. But I'll tell you honestly, when I posted on Instagram, 7 minutes of video, I would have never thought in my life. It has been doing really well. And back then when I uploaded it on YouTube, not a lot of number of people have watched it, but now when Instagram pay, I'm getting so much praise and they're validating it. So I think to a point, I also can't draw the barrier ke views does not equal to good piece of content or vice versa.
So does something have to perform well for you to think it's successful?
Now at this age, I think it's been 7-8 years. I just know sometimes कि why did something did not work, what was lacking in it, or was it the right time or wrong time. But now I just know कि it was good, it did not work. That does not mean कि I made something bad.
Ria, are you insulated from that pressure as a writer? I know SN writes as well, but you know we're talking to him more about the virality with the content creation online. But as a writer, do you feel insulated from that pressure?
I try to be, but there is also that pressure to market your work, and I do create content once in a while around my writing. So for that to hit its numbers so that people come to my profile and learn about my book and are able to read that as well. So I see my social media as a pipeline. So pipeline में भी कुछ आना ही चाहिए ताकि something trickles out of the end. So for me, the numbers sometimes play, you know, a role in the decisions that I make or just how validated I feel. I do think I know when I make something good, and then even if it does not perform well in terms of numbers, I feel like अपनी satisfaction हो जाती है कि हमें पता है. You know, there are a lot of underrated books and underrated writers that I like who have like some 1,000 followers and, you know, no posts, and yet I like their work. So I know there are people like that who also exist. So I try to
people who are reticent when it comes to being
100%,
online.
100%. So I try to detach
But
myself.
they lose out as well, Ria, don't they?
I think there is, yeah, if you're not visible, then the amount of people who find your work are fewer, and you can ignore the fact that social media as a tool exists to make your work visible, but I feel like there's a balance you can strike in seeing it as just a pathway to get readers.
All
to your
right,
work.
we've spoken about visibility, we've spoken about virality, we've spoken about validation. I want to understand from both of you, and Essen, you can start here. Have you ever held back a story wondering if it'll perform well?
No, I have never. I think I have
But
always.
is that a thought at the back of your mind that ये हो सकता है अगर मैं ये story डालूं online
हाँ.
और नहीं चली तो मेरा अगला story चलेगा कि नहीं?
I'll tell you just one small thing. Some
ahead.
things you do for your kitchen, some things you do for your art. And then I decide कि if I'm willing to post it and I know somehow कि शायद ये अच्छा काम ना करे, तो I'll make peace with it before posting it. कि I have made my peace. अगर if it doesn't work well, अगर 10 लोगों ने भी देखी, I will be okay with it. I will not beat myself up over it. And it's for me. It's because I come from a very small town. I started it all for myself. Now I have this clan. So at the end of the day, I just sometimes do things for myself, not for the views, not for the audience.
What about you, Ria?
I think for me, it's more of a question of medium. Do I want to say something online, but I have to put it in like 90 seconds or 180 seconds and then just say it? Or do I save it for a longer form essay or a book in which I have the space and time to do justice to that story? So I think that is how I evaluate my decisions, not so much the views. When I have something to say, I want to say it. It is just the question of medium.
So tell me this, are we losing the patience to sit with a complex story? Every movie, every content that we talk about does not have to be simple. It can be a bit complicated. Are we ready to give it that time, that bandwidth to absorb it? Or do we want to just see something that's fun and say, okay, I've had a tough day, I want to unwind. I don't want to get into something complicated when it comes to content. The hard work is the same or more perhaps. But are we ready as Gen Z, as a young audience, to absorb that, to insulate it?
I think you just need to look at the performance of movies like Project Hail Mary in theatres that I hope people here have watched, or even the way how young people talk about, say, Christopher Nolan films, which are one of the most complex, very science-heavy things that you find, but they like them because you can see the effort that goes into telling a good story, and if it is a good story, you will want to immerse yourself in it. I think the onus also lies on the storytellers and the creators to make those good pieces of work that get people to their story.
Essence?
Yeah, Gen Zs have become very selective. If you don't tell a good story, they won't listen to it. That's what happened. Because for a very long time, cinema was laying back. Now it has come back, so we are watching it.
You know, stories may not always make headlines, but they shape the way we think, feel, connect. Some years back, someone told me, the remote control is in your hand. You have to select what you watch. So I think at the end of it, it lies with us. But this is very intense as well as a discussion, so I want to end this on a lighter note. We have a room full of very young people out here. My understanding of Gen Z lingo ends at 6, 7, Riz and Sus. That's it. Now I'm going to hand it over to the two of you. I want maybe 5 words each. You reach out to them and I want to understand from them if they know what it means. So let's start with you, Essen.
Okay, I have this word.
And can we have mics in the audience if we already have them there so that some of them can respond? Essen, go ahead.
Finsta. How many of you know Finsta? Finsta. Oh, Arun.
No, we aren't asking Arun. No in-house responses. Anyone here?
Yeah, you can just yell it out.
Yeah, just yell it out. We won't wait for a mic. Anybody?
She answered.
Who did?
We have a
Chitrangana.
hand here.
We should ask Chintrangana one as well. She's already covering her face there.
It's fake Insta.
Yeah, it's fake.
Oh, she knows. She's saying it's fake Insta. Guys,
Yeah.
get with it. Wake up, audience. Come on. All right, Ria, you next.
Okay, I'll go with like a gesture one. I love doing this. Do you guys know what?
Clock it.
Clock it. Yeah, I love clock it.
All right, well done.
Breadcrumbing. I think ये तो पता होगा यार. Please. Huh? Yeah, dropping subtle hints.
Well done.
Yeah.
We're waking the audience up a bit with this. Come on.
Okay, I like saying unk.
Unk.
Yeah, I used to think it was uncle.
Yeah, both.
Recently learned it's
Both
uncle.
means the same.
Yeah,
Uncle
okay.
is.
I think uncle
yeah.
is also uncool only. So it's fine.
How sad is that?
I say this word a lot. Mid.
Mid.
Yeah, mid. Average, yes,
Okay.
yes.
These are easy. Some complicated ones.
Okay.
Okay.
I like let her cook, let him cook. Yeah, make them talk. Yeah, let them
I like
cook.
how the people out here who are not from Gen Z are really tuned in. They're really listening to
They're
this so that
learning.
they can go home and say, okay, these are the words I picked up today, the lingo, the parlance of Gen Z.
There's this word, snatched. You're,
Perfect.
yeah, it goes for the outfit. Okay, you look
How
snatched.
does snatch mean perfect?
It does.
Please explain.
It's a vibe. Like you have to be like I like
Everything is a vibe, guys.
Yeah,
But please
another
explain
word for it.
snatch
Yeah,
to
vibe.
perfect. Okay, the last one with you,
Okay.
Riya.
Aura farming. I think aura farming.
We all know that. I've heard it too. All right. On that very, very positive note, we're going to end this session. Thank you so much, Riya and Essen. It's been a pleasure having you here. And I just hope at some point we balance reading with content creation, content visibility, and content consumption. Thank you so much, audience, and thank you for being with us here.